Ladies and gents, welcome to, well, obviously one individual game, but actually a full series. This is the final from the Pikeman group, one of 12 groups we had in the T90 Community Cup, and actually ended up being between two Australian players. So we've got Nessie here in the red, and then we've got Quiet the Pro here in the blue. So again, this is a full best of 5. They played in group stage early on, and if you are watching this and are like, man, is there a noob bracket or is there a bracket that can handle someone as good as me? We have brackets for everybody. And at least here on the stream, you can use the TCC command to at least join the Community Cup Discord because we'll be doing more in the future. Or on Discord, you could always, check the description as well. Because the whole idea is get to play some different maps, get to make some friends, get to challenge yourself a little bit beyond the, the standard games ranked provides. We had over 200 people play, and then 12 eventual winners with the finals and all that. So, Nessie's gone for the more typical pick here, or at least the expected pick here with the Spanish. And then we've got Quiet the Pro here in the blue, playing as the Celts. Now, the map is Ring of Reeds. You've got some food towards the middle, so sometimes you'll see players be really aggressive towards this. This could be really strong to have all the shorefish, the berries, and the deer here. If you don't wish to take food there, though, you can always take the some of the shorefish on the outside. There's also some deer out there too. Can be a little awkward. The tree situation, only having 50 wood per reed means you chop through the trees pretty quickly, so that's something you got to keep an eye on. But because you start with walls, we have seen a lot of castle dropping. Whether that be defensive or offensive castles, we've seen that be a trend. So that's kind of what I'm thinking from Nessie here. Nessie having a little bit of a tough time bringing in this board to start it off. But yeah, both players around 1200 elo, which was our Pikeman group here. Okay, Zilver, I think jokingly said, turn the volume down, please. Is the volume fine, everybody? Is the volume good? I just barely increased the sounds. I just want to make sure that the game sounds aren't too crazy. I barely touched it. Okay, cool. Thank you. So yeah, we're going to chill out, cast the series. I think this full series will probably be on extras later. Give people a feel of the whole series. And then, I don't know, I haven't seen the games. I haven't been spoiled by any of this. So, the best individual games eventually hit YouTube. So, but we had a crazy game on this the other day, just yesterday, with castle drops everywhere. It was castle drops, but also tree hops too. It was wild. This is probably not the case because there's a lot of people coming into the community and being more active in the community from Australia. But I am quite curious on if Quiet the Pro or Nessie was one of the people that showed up at my Australia meetup. Was that earlier this year? Was that last year? Dude, when was that? I think it was a year ago now. Oh my God, time's flying. But anyways, it was amazing the amount of people who showed up to that. We had 130 people show up. And it was really cool to get to meet more people from the Australian community. So here scouts are engaging. Quiet the Pro being a little bit more active with the scout, at least, offensively. Hasn't gone to the middle at all. And so Nessie actually has milled that and is taking the food there. So that's pretty good for Nessie. And Quiet the Pro seems to be, just going for some type of fast castle. Now, you don't have berries, so where you'd place that mill would be kind of the next decision, I think, economically here for blue. You could just place a mill randomly in your base just for farming later on. That would be more than fine. But it does always feel natural to place a mill here or on the outside, like Nessie has done here. And Nessie's going to go crazy, too. Nessie's going to bring even more vills. Still hasn't been attacked in the middle, which I think some people have tried. And so Nessie taking the opportunity to just get as much food as possible there. I think it's a good decision. But now, Blue has gone from having no villagers in the middle to just sending 12 vills to the middle. Okay, so this is going to get interesting because right now, Quiet the Pro does not, now he knows. But, this whole time he didn't know that red was out here. He's going to build the mill. See that there's a red mill right next to it. And what do you do in this scenario? Do you both just take food and relax? Or are we going to see a Vill fight? We've got 10 Vills in the middle from red. We've got 12 from blue, and the scouts are here. And okay, I guess they're just going to peacefully take some food. I got 4 villagers over here from blue. And he is going to place some houses. Interesting. It's almost like he wants to, like, fully wall this up. This is very peculiar. Like, if you're red right now, you're probably like, what is he doing? And I think you got to check that out. Like, I'm not even sure what this accomplishes, but I think you have to stop it from getting crazier, right? But blue just drops 4 houses. Now, let's see how willing the players are to Vil War here. Oh, red doesn't have loom. Red does not have loom. And I think blue just realized this. So Quiet the Pro is trying to rush down these villagers here. He's actually opened the gate. So you can actually keep the gate open. If the villager is underneath, what is happening? The villager is underneath the gate, holding it open, and now red deletes the gate to get through. And now red makes a new gate. I mean, that was actually pretty sick from red, because you can't actually use the side pieces of the gate to you know, as the entry point. So the delete actually saved the vills. It was pretty well played from blue as well to quick wall like that. Now, I was told that one of these players really likes to boom, and another one of these players really likes to go all in feudal. And so apparently it's a clash of styles here. I don't remember which is which with that description, but from what I'm seeing, apparently blue's the aggressor. And red is the player who'd prefer to be more relaxed, and red actually kills the scout there. This is actually really freaking cool. Look at what blue is doing here. Blue's like, I've got the middle now, and I'm going to make my market and my blacksmith and 3 more houses to fully wall you in. What in the world? Red probably right now doesn't really know what to do about this. And so initially the 4 houses maybe looked a little odd, but you could tell that there was some, you know, intention behind it. And now blue is going to just have red completely walled off here. Now, I think if you're red, like, obviously you might feel a little flexed on right now. But overall, you haven't lost any vills, and it could have been way worse. You still can just castle drop this, right? Like, blue is not being aggressive at all. So if you can get to Castle Age and just drop a castle on this, the houses are going to go down. You can send conquistadors to the middle, and you're still in a pretty good spot. Can we appreciate the mills spinning right next to each other like this? It looks so nice. Remember, there's going to be death. There's going to be bloodshed. You know, people are going to lose family members. It's going to be really sad. But the mills, this is the time to appreciate this. Looks very nice. I would be careful walking through the mills. It feels like you could lose, you know, maybe get a haircut you weren't intending. But anyways, Quiet the Pro in the middle, like just all over the hunt here. But Nessie is on the way up. Nessie sending lots of villagers over to the stone. And Nessie will be in a good position to drop a castle. Now, what I would do, personally, is I would, when you place this castle, is you want to delete your walls. Considering red deleted that gate, which was epic, I'm sure red now is aware that the delete hotkey exists. Red scout just went down over here to a villager. But yeah, I would like delete here and then place the castle right up against the blacksmith or the stone. That way the castle is as close to the middle as possible. And then still from there, your castle can break through houses or the market. I think what you don't want is you don't want your castle to be like deep in your base. It's really important you use that castle to be as aggressive as possible. Blue's on the way to Castle Age. I see the barracks now. My thinking is, since blue is Celts, blue probably wants to eat TC and wants to go crazy with Siege. But I mean, how are you supposed to stop conquistadors? Now, red doesn't necessarily have the prettiest economy ever for conquistadors. Conquistadors do still cost food. But I mean, the castle is just the start. Now, I just remember people are asking questions. I didn't put this on screen. So YouTube, do me a favor. Just act like you didn't see this. Definitely don't leave a comment about how I'm unprepared. We're going to do Pikeman Final. And the ELO for the players is already up, so everything's good. This is everything's good. We're good. 0-0. Game 1. Okay. Nessie Where are you going to build this castle? Okay, this is perfect. This is pretty much what I wanted. Right up against the walls, that's perfect. And then, once this castle's completed, it will automatically fire on a lot of these buildings. It would be great for red if red, like, tasks this castle fire to a house, though. Because then you're going to be through sooner rather than later. So, I don't actually know... You know, it's going to be very difficult for me to give blue some solid ideas here. Like, blue sees this castle and is going to try and be creative and get some walls down. But these houses are going to go down pretty quickly. You need to leave the middle. Like, the villagers need to be away from here. The stone wall is certainly an option. Blue is going to go for a siege workshop anyways. So, still feels like siege is an option here. But yeah, I would, I would not town center the middle. But blue's like, well, I need protection for 19 villagers. I don't want to lose control of the middle. So, yeah, we're just going to TC here. Not what I was expecting. I was thinking, like, run. Like, run away. You want to be on the outside as much as possible. And we got pikemen and mangonel. I mean, that's what the Celts do very well, right? Is siege and infantry. For Nessie, Nessie's got a pretty solid build right now. Actually, I like a lot of how Nessie's build-up has gone. Buying food when necessary to make more conchs. But still, like, adding farms, recognizing that more natural food income is needed. It's kind of funny how blue added this wall. It hasn't accomplished anything. And now... now the conchs just walk right past the wall and can attack the palisade. And it would just be right into blue's base. Like, there's no protection here. So blue has to pan a quick house here and gets a couple foundations down. But the conchs are in. Conchs are in, and I think there's also an overchop here. And, yep, there was an overchop. Blue noticed it at least, but this is where it's just so difficult to face up against the Spanish, and I think this is why Nessie chose the Spanish in the first place. Again, the pikemen and the mangonels, like, don't necessarily offer huge opportunities to kill the conchs. I would say some monks could be helpful, and or skirmishers. Both things just not really the best for the Celts. But both things you could still do. In theory, though, the siege and the pikes can kill. I mean, if the pikemen get their hits, they do tons of bonus damage against the conchs, but conchs will one-shot the pikes and the siege at this point, and it's not looking good for blue. I love the gates, though. This little gated community is pretty amazing. I can't wait to watch blue play more, because the way blue places buildings is hilarious to me. Very creative. Remember, part of the strategy was to wall in the enemy. Red hasn't really given that much power, though. So, Vil count's pretty even, despite red killing more. But red, it could still build up this awesome force. I like what red did. Like, he hit walls here, so he decided to find another area to hit. I think the key right now, you have two options if you're Spanish. You kind of live with where you're at. Oh, God, there's a hole. So you're happy with 9 conquistadors and you just stop producing them and maybe you try and boom a little bit. Or you just produce more conchs and maybe drop another castle, which is what I would always suggest. And I didn't see that hole was there before. 7 villagers now killed by the conchs. And in our first game in the final here, it's not looking very good for blue. Is dropping, you know, is going to be on 3 TCs here in a second. Is completing the walls again. But when you have eco, you need to make army. And there is no real army that can deal with conquistadors. I think what would have been better for blue, funnily enough, instead of like walling red in, attacking red and trying to break in to stop red would have maybe been a better strategy. What are those conchs doing? What is that? They're not firing unless there's a bug. I've never seen that before. Okay. Nice little conquistador dance move. Mangonel pulled behind the quadruple gate. These gates look so funny to me, dude. These gates look so funny. Conks are so tough to stop, but if any Mangonel could do it, the Celt Mangonel maybe could. We got repairs from blue. It's not bad. More conks on the way. There's also a missionary somewhere. Where's that missionary for red? I think the missionary is trapped. Oh, wow. He's getting redemption. He's going to start converting stuff. Wow, so this is the good old-fashioned conk and donk, right? Conquistadors and donkeys? Let's go. Red is shifting a bit more focus onto the economy now with the second TC. But you still want to make sure that this aggression is the focus. Because if Celts... You know, if the opponent's on 4 TCs and they're not taking losses, things could get out of hand later. Because I would say, like... If you can get to Imp and go Halb capped Ram with Celts... Then that could be pretty good against these Conquistadors. We didn't have the Inquisition upgrade yet. But I think we all know that blue wouldn't expect it. And the Mangonel gets converted. Redemption pays for itself immediately. The missionary also healed up some as well. And this is just looking so much worse for blue. His own Mangonel slaughtering his villagers. We actually have another army out here from Nessie now. Nessie, good micro. Really good unit control. And it just... Blue's got more vills. Blue's been able to stick to that. But it's not looking pretty. Because the conks can't be killed. This is where I said, like, I think if red had, like, 6 vills on stone instead of 2 this whole time, red could just be castle dropping here, and then blue has absolutely no chance. I would say there's, like, maybe a 5% chance from here. It's not great for blue, but that 5% chance is still there, you know? Like the idea of the missionary. Even for just the healing purposes, I think it's really smart. I'm seeing some people show up in my chat. Welcome, everybody. Casting some TCC finals. 1200 elo here. I think we have seen why Conquistadors are strong in this game. And probably why you need like a good monk civ or a good unique unit civ yourself on this map. We have seen a lot of other things, but... My feeling is this map is normally about getting a castle down. Another TC out here for Nessie. And Nessie's just got conks everywhere. Even kind of waiting out here. Like, these villagers are going to chop through eventually. And he's already thinking about how he can stop them. I do have a knight from blue. And blue also is building a castle on the outside. So, I mean, blue is still alive. Has not been killed off yet. And actually, oh man, just got here a little late, but could have found some villager kills there. Red just got so many conquistadors, though. But not really killing anything actively with these right now, so. What's up, Duve? What's up, Epi? Welcome. Potion, thanks for the 29 months. What's up, Zolotl? Thanks for the 10. Zolotl said Ring of D's. I like that. I didn't think about that. I'm too mature, you know? I didn't think about that joke. Da Happy Hammer, thanks for the 2 months. Salutes to you, man. Thank you. Rumo, thanks for 21. Rum Pirate, what's up? And Conks were here before, remember? And they only saw the TC, didn't know about the castle, and bam, that hurts. That's an expensive loss. But... You can tell red is about to just put what I feel was probably going to be the final nail in the coffin. And if this castle goes up, it's right on top of blue's TC, which is the only protection for 25 villagers. It then also gives red control of this stone, which means that red is just going to have another castle before you know it. So it's the first game in their final. Players are... You're going to want to fight it out and you know, get a feel for the series before, you know, quitting or anything. But Nessie has looked solid this whole game. Blue has some crazy style points, but the style points haven't been enough to secure him a position here. I like the raids. Like, sending units this way, this is how you're going to have some chances to kill villagers. But if red notices and has any defense, the conks are still so strong here. So yeah, this TC will go down, and blue is 11 vills inside the TC and 17 vills out of the TC. And so I don't care, like, sure, 3 more town centers over here. Let's say that no villagers die in this area. And losing 20-some vills is just not a good thing. You can't think of a positive. The only positive I could really say is that at least he's not losing 30 vills. You could look at it that way, but I feel like, the glass isn't really all that full right now for Quiet the Pro. As he's still, thinking of ways to stay alive here. And really, I mean, these are the moments where I really am tested, I feel, as a caster, because it's not looking good. Silverdog says also positive, it frees the way to the next game. That's true. I mean, the other thing is we're going to see another castle here, and this is at least from my experience. I have a lot of experience in losing the first game in tournaments. I feel like sometimes it's better to just play on a little bit longer in the first game if you're going to lose. And get it out of your system. Get any frustration out of your system or whatever your emotions are. That way, once you load into the lobby for game number 2, it's already out of your mind. I find if I, resign right when I think I'm dead and I don't really fight for a long time, I'm still thinking about game number 1 when game number 2 should be on mind. Does that make sense? I mean, Blue is going to click up to Imp. Blue has now clicked up to Imp. That's crazy. In Imp could use this castle to make trebs. However, there's 3 castles. Soon maybe even 4 castles here for red. And now this TC's gone down. And things are going to go down. I'm being told his name is actually Quiet the Pro, not Quite the Pro. Wait. It's Quiet the Pro. I didn't say Quite the Pro. Am I saying it wrong? I think he's in chat. It's Quiet the Pro, not Quite the Pro. I thought I was saying it correctly, but maybe not. And Nessie just doesn't realize any of these villagers are here right now. That's 17 vills right there. I mean, that's huge. I think he just assumes he's killed everything. And I think he's just going to try and do damage back here now. Is there a chance, guys? Is there a chance for Blue? Is it 5%? I mean... No, there's no chance. This one Wold Raider is his only hope. He needs to raid like crazy. He's woading, guys. Look at him woad. Look at him waddle. Look at him woad. That's some real woadage right there. What's on his shoulder? Is that armor? We'll see what he does. Red's been really attentive, though. Runs into the castle fire, but kills a Vil. Can easily just loop around this castle. Yeah, I was wondering if the Woad Raider had a tattoo on his shoulder. I need to see different angles. Maybe if the Woad Raider will turn around for us. Nessie's probably like, how is this person an imp? This doesn't make any sense. But Nessie's been producing a lot of Vils and also a lot of Conquistadors. Oh my god, Nessie stole the farms! Nessie stole the farms. That's epic. Just drop the mill there. It'll automatically take the enemy's farms if they're not on it. Love a good old-fashioned farm heist. And then these farmers also snitched and told Red that the other villagers were here. So yeah, this is not looking good. I mean, skirm production's in. Skirms could be great against the conks if you can get the numbers, but a lot of the skirms even are dying. The Vils are dying. And it's just all going to come down. I guess Quiet the Pro's got this one treb. So, listen, if you get to 4 trebs and 20 skirms right now, Red might have to make a big switch. Skirms do decent amounts of bonus damage here. Bodkinera's on the way. But it's 49 villagers versus 90. And what the switch would be going into Knights against the skirms. And Nessie is looking good, man. Man, these guys are solid, dude. I'm very impressed. Like, I've watched quite a few games, all different ELO brackets. I've obviously covered some. I think this is the first time we've done this bracket for a stream, but I think it's really impressive to get the timing right, to understand, okay, I'm going to need Knights instead of Conks. I maybe spoke too early. I do not know what you're doing here, Nessie. Well, clearly Nessie just wanted to kill the Treb, but just as I complimented him, he decided to throw away a bunch of conks. Still don't really think it's going to be that big of a deal, though. 30 seconds away from Imp. Cav switch could be incoming. Red can lose this castle and the castle afterwards. I still think it'd be in a strong position. And blue... Score is looking closer than you might think, but blue is still just at the limit with resources. But really putting up a big fight here, right? From what we can see, this game has been over for some time. Now we can see Trebs from Nessie. Nessie will produce Trebs from all three of these castles here. Still repairing. There's the Woad Raider. Raiding. Wait a second! Hold on! So as we established, doesn't the Woad Raider have something on his shoulder? Okay. So, like, his, like, his front delt region has a tattoo of some kind, right? Or whatever that is. Now hold on. Fast forward, right? This guy goes out to battle. Okay, it's still there. I don't know what it is. Now it looks like it's armor. I no longer think it's a tattoo. It's something that's attached to his shoulder. But hold on. It's still... Wait. This is such a big deal. Okay. So he's got it on both sides, right? So it's some type of armor. Now watch. You can see it from behind him. And then he dies. Oh, and he's naked now. It all disappeared. I didn't realize the transition. I guess he's still, he's still got pants on. But I guess it just falls off of him. And I just saw him laying face down, and I was like, where's the tattoo? And okay, anyways, we're back in business. We're back in business. This poor guy has died trying to save his people, and here I am just, making fun of his armor. This corpse was looted. I love that. Like some villager over here is going to be wearing the armor. Well, Trebs are now out for red, and red's going to have more Trebs than blue and can actually use these Trebs against blue's trebuchet. And the light cap switch is coming in. Spanish feel really smooth in this position. This is precisely what you want with Spanish. You want castle drops, conquistadors, maybe mix in some monks, then you get a nice little boom going. And then you drop the staples down and go into cav. They can do other things, of course, but like this is how the ideal Spanish game would go in most cases. And it was a wild little start. But I think blue is going to be thinking, man, I shouldn't have walled him in. I should have actually attacked him. Because he was in feudal age so much faster. Like a tower rush, man-at-arms, archers. Like, make it messy. Don't just let him chill. And, Trebs from blue now kind of repositioning here. The cav switch hasn't been shown yet. The cav is actually on the outside. The red's going to try and go for a raid. I mean, if red can just take out a house, though... The light cav could also just run through here. The issue is the houses are there. Are we going to see the supremacy upgrade here from red? I feel like red's trying to get the resources for supremacy right now. And yeah, it's actually in queue. But the vills aren't... What do you say when a villager doesn't have supremacy yet? You say they're not supremacist yet? They're not supreme! Yeah, this is pre-supremacy. But house goes down. Vills won't be needed. Light cav will finish the job. Blue trying his best to re-house wall this. But TC won't go up. The Trebs will go down. The Trebs for red are actually still here as well. There's nothing to kill them. And Quiet the Pro. Still fighting. Like a maniac. Didn't know I'd be casting this at the time, I'm sure. And not that he should change what he wants to do if I am. But I am not sure exactly what he thinks is his win condition right now. Maybe he receives some intel that his opponent has to be at work in, a couple hours. And he figures he can, drag this one out a little bit longer. Probably just having some fun. You know, villagers just going to run off this way. There's a conquistador seemingly waiting. We've got supremacy now from Nessie, and supremacy is a real flex and a half here, too. It's like, dude, I'm not only beating you, I'm beating you with villagers. It could really get into Blue's head. As Blue is now running. I like how they're all running with nets in their hands. And, okay, they're now dead. That's what happens with if you run with nets, and the GG's called. So maybe Blue a little bit frustrated, or at least realizing, okay, maybe I need to stop wasting time. And the GG's called. So Nessie takes the first game. Now, I don't know what their draft looks like. I also don't know a lot about like what the players' preferences are. But again, kind of what I was told was one of these players really likes to boom. The other player likes to be more aggressive. Now, what we essentially saw was Quiet the Pro didn't have a ton of solid military in this game. So it could have been maybe Quiet the Pro is the boomer, and then Nessie's the aggressor because Nessie made tons of conks. That would actually be what I would guess. We'll see. But, of course, the way this is structured is there was a draft. So Quiet the Pro will probably opt for one of his best maps coming up next. But again, this is the final, right? This is the final in their bracket. They would have played multiple players to get here. Both players are on 1200 elo, but Nessie with the perfect game to start off a series. Precisely what you would have wanted with the Spanish. I really like actually maybe the MVP move from Nessie takes us all the way back to when he didn't have Loom with the whole gate delete. I'm going to show it now because a couple people probably just got here. Let's rewatch this. And I actually want to analyze how many villagers would have gone down if he didn't do this. So we've got, again, red in the middle, no Loom. Blue starts to do this little house wall move. I've never seen anything like this, honestly. Like, every aspect of this was super unique. Okay, so now red's going to lose Vills. You got Blue with a scout and villagers with Loom against no Loom. So now he's fleeing. And then Blue gets underneath the gate. Here. Okay, under the gate. And now red's still trying to go in. And right now, guys, red's got 4 villagers out here. Right? And so Blue goes... bam, bam. And red knew to delete the gate because you can't actually, with those 2 palisade foundations down, red actually can't get into his base anymore. Deleting the gate opens up the palisades, the tile gaps on either side. And then somehow, I guess Blue didn't want to follow into the base, right? Which I guess makes sense because you don't know what's going to be in there. And then red just rebuilds the gate. That could have been 4 villagers down for red. The food in the hands as well, the villagers wouldn't have been had. And he wouldn't have been able to relax. So that was, in my opinion, kind of like almost the best play of the game. I mean, from there, Blue kind of walled him in. But that's kind of what red wanted. That was the equivalent of Blue tucking in Nessie to go to bed. So he could get some nice rest. He's like, oh, thank you very much. Thank you. And then he, had his rest and eventually built up towards conquistadors, which was perfect for him. So, GG. All right, ladies and gents, welcome. We've got some coast to mountain action. This is game number 2, the very first game in this series at 1200 elo. Nessie stomped. It was not pretty, to put it kindly, for Quiet the Pro. But here, Quiet the Pro probably prepared something special. This would be his home map. And as a reminder, this was the final for this elo bracket in the T90 Community Cup. If you want to check out that Discord, we will be doing more Community Cups in the future. So check it out. TCC command here on Twitch. And link should be in the description if we see this later on YouTube. Now, map is Coast to Mountain. It is a nomad start. You do not start with a scout, but you instead start with a camel. There it is. And the camel cannot attack, but it obviously can scout the map, which is really nice. On this map, you have the coast, where we already see a villager for Quiet the Pro, building a dock. And then you have the mountain, which is... maybe more like a hill, I don't know if this is really a mountain per se, but you get the idea. Really fun map. And you have options on how you can choose to play it. Even from the start, like red, since the villagers started here, red built the TC immediately. And so that means the TC was up faster and red got the first villager and maybe second villager out a little bit faster. However, now red is further from the wood. and further from the things on the mountain, right? As well as, like, this isn't as protected. Blue, on the other hand, doesn't need to make a lumber camp, necessarily, at least for a while, which is great, and that adds to the fish boom, but is now further from the elephants that are out here and some of the hunts. So, yeah, there's lots of things playing into this. And in my opinion, this is one of the best maps out there for Age of Empires 2. I think it's really fun. The variety of civilizations can maybe be an issue with the map. Like certain civs, like Persians, I think are top tier. Malians, top tier. Chinese, Mongols, top tier. Maybe every other civ, maybe a little bit below that. But I think there's a lot of fun things you can do. And so we'll see what Quiet the Pro tries to do here. Because again, down 1-0 right now. Now, one would assume that, like, maybe Nessie doesn't have as much practice on this map. Now, they did play different rounds against different players to eventually get to the finals. So I would guess there was probably a game or two for Nessie, but these are not pros. Like, these are 1,200 elo players. Sorry, 1,200 eloers. You're very far from pro. And that would imply that these individuals are doing other things or maybe not, you know, no-lifing Age of Empires 2. And so they're just we're gonna see a player be very strong on one map and a player maybe struggle on another. Like the previous game, it didn't look like Blue, at least, didn't have a strategy to match the Spanish, you know? And now so far, Red has chosen not to dock. Hasn't even scouted the water. And that's the big difference maker. Blue has docked. And, I mean, there are deep fish out here, but I also should point out there's not tons of deep fish. It's still well over 2,000 food, but they're pretty far away, so it can get annoying. You got to, like, scout with fishing ships to find the other fish, and I still don't think you're going to complain about having free fish boom. But it might not be free because Red could eventually go over there and try and kill that, potentially, so. We're going to see that elephant get brought in. So that's 3 elephants for Red, plus also the mill there on the zebra. So, long-term, something you need to think about on this map is map control. Both civs should be pretty good at going into stable units. So, Persians and Tatars both can go for, like, scouts maybe, or, like, knights and camels. Tatars obviously can go for the lancers too, which is kind of nice. In fact, I think this is one of the best maps just for mobile units in general. Like, foot archers, infantry, because the players are so far apart from each other, it's just so very slow. And so I don't think that archer infantry is as strong as other maps here. So I'm definitely thinking stable or archer range. Both players could consider going cav archers maybe. And that would be really good for the Tatars. If the Tatars could go like cav archers with flaming camel. Like, what do Persians do against flaming camel and cav archers? Maybe he's a little too crazy to get to the flaming camels, but I think he could be strong. Quiet the Pro is also walling up, like already showing a lot of experience, in my opinion. The fishing, but also recognizing that you could wall this off and then protect the gold and the stone here in this little pocket in the back. And it actually gets really difficult then. Like, let's say Red wants to go for scouts, right? Well, the zebra are going to be gone by the time the scouts arrive. And if Blue is walled, all the eco for Blue is going to be, like, right past the town center. And we'll see if it's a full wall here from Blue, but it even seems like that's the plan. You might even build a gate there just so Red can't sneak through. Superhero says T90, I've seen you play on this map, bro, against Masty. Listen, we don't bring that game up, okay? Did I not put that in the title? Come on, we don't bring that game up, all right? I was being lazy, all right? We don't bring that game up. What about the other games? Huh? There's some other games I have great memories of. That was not one of them. I said earlier that I was just, like, lazily patrolling Spears, and I was just like, he's gonna make a mistake. This guy, like, you know, I was like, I guess it was a bit of a cocky mentality. I was like, okay, he's gonna lose his scouts eventually. He's gonna lose his scouts eventually. And then I'm like, I lose 2 vills. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm Chinese. I lose 3 vills. I'm like, oh, that's not ideal. I lose 4, and then 5, and then 6. And I'm like, he's not making mistakes. Yeah, he definitely played well. I think what definitely got in my head a little bit with Masty and is that Masty is brothers with Emu. And so Emu is like kind of like an all-in or like clowny type player, like more of an arena style. And I just thought Masty was going to be the same. But Masty is more of a standard player, which I wasn't prepared for, you know? But yeah. I aimed for entertainment in that series. Just as Blue aims for entertainment right now. Blue loses his camel to the TC. Somehow sees the camel from Red and is going to wall it in. And now Red is trying to escape. Blue is laughing at him. I love how Red clicked it so many times. Now remember, it can't attack, right? So it can't do anything. And Nessie just says sadness. I like that. That was pretty heads up play there from Blue. Kind of a small detail was, well, it's unimportant. I actually don't know how he saw it. I guess the house is there. Anyways. The good thing for Red is that Red at least knows that this is house walled up and also sees the market. So that should tell Red that the enemy is going fast castle. So I think like you could kind of think... You could kind of assume that there is not going to be any military from Blue if you see the market. Because if someone was going to go for aggression, you would probably see a blacksmith or like a stable, right? Resources collected much higher for Blue, though. It's just been this uncontested dock. Blue did also make a galley to patrol the shoreline, which is pretty smart. It's still pretty common to see players be able to sneak docks up, depending on how thorough the patrol is. That's a pretty thorough patrol, right? Like, if Red's going to come in from anywhere, it's probably going to be seen by the galley. So I feel like Blue's strategy has been really good here. And resources collected reflects that. But look at the approach here from Nessie. And Nessie's going to go for Lancers. And Nessie's going to go on the offensive here. No eco upgrades for Nessie. That's going to be an issue. We do have the second TC, and Tatars do get the extra sheep from the TCs, which is kind of nice. There's also still the hunt coming in the middle, bringing in lots of food income. Yeah, Blue unfortunately lost the scout, or I guess like the camel scout, at a really important time. And if that scout was active, could spot the two stables and know that the pressure is coming. Okay, question chat. Do you think Red is going to free the camel scout? It's still alive. Red doesn't really have an easy way to break through. So I could actually see Red just going over here and freeing the camel scout. Blue drops TC number 2 and 3. Yeah, Blue just wants to boom. That's what he did in the first game. It didn't look good because conks were on his face. But yeah, Blue wants to boom. Red wants to be the aggressor, clearly. Man, Red hasn't scouted the water at all. Maybe he's going to do it now? We kind of assumed that the dock would be in this area, the shoreline, but Blue kind of docked towards the middle there. Blue even bringing another villager to redock here for greater efficiency. This makes me happy, Quiet the Pro. Let's go. I talk about this all the time. Why make fish traps right now when you can just make another dock and all of this fish is super efficient for you? I think Red was looking for somewhere to raid because Blue was walled up. Was hoping there'd maybe be villagers over here. There were not. Smart from Blue to be fully walled here. If these step lancers got in, things would get awkward. And the step lancers will not find a hole, but they can stack and break through pretty quickly. Blue realizes it, immediately places a house behind. So 3 TCs. Now, it's getting kind of cramped in here as far as farms go. That's going to be something Blue needs to worry about. Wouldn't hate to see Blue... I wouldn't hate to see Blue trap these step lancers, but this is 1200 elo and that would never happen, right? Can you imagine if the lancers run in and then Blue like runs around and builds a gate here? That would be sick, but obviously if you have to go out there, you would then could let the units through. But no, I'd actually like to see a stable. Like, at some point, you need to fight for some map control. So a stable for some camels could be really good. Behind this, Red has done a really nice job with the second TC and adding farms. But Red has missed out on the wood and the farm upgrade, which I think is going to hurt eventually. Clearly, Red is just sick of this stuff, though. And Red's like, fine, if you want to just stay in your base, I'm going to eventually castle drop you. And so sends a bunch of villagers to stone there for that purpose. Yeah, Lancers are no joke. Like, you can just stack so many units and attack buildings, especially with Tatars, too, because you do more damage on top of hills with Tatars. So if you can get the proper engagements up here on the mountain, you're going to be shredding things pretty quickly here. And I'd say it's a pretty close game. Like, what I still haven't seen from Blue is a fight back for map control. I have seen defense. I have seen eco. But that eventually needs to turn into something special. And actually, there's a stable here. And that's interesting. So, like, full walling your base and then going for a sneak stable because of this one villager. I thought it was going to be a dock earlier. That is something. And I guess Blue's plan is to use Siege to like, hit the Lancers and force the Lancers away. And we'll see if Red ever notices this. But yeah, the two Knights just kind of stuck there for now. That guy's trying... He doesn't want to fight. So he'd rather jump off the edge of the map. But House is getting dangerously weak. And wow, Red reacts right away. Nice reaction there from Red. He probably kept looking, thinking he was going to break in. Now he's not going to be able to get through. And, oh, there's also Lancers attacking the dock, I just noticed. The Knights have been forgotten about here. And this Knight... Hardy, can we edit in a treadmill, please, for this Knight? Can we put the Knight on the treadmill? That would be really good. YouTube would enjoy that. Just put the little Knight on a treadmill. And pinch yourself because, yes... You're actually getting paid to put that bugged Knight on a treadmill. It's one of those bugs I hope they never fix. It's like somewhat recent, but like units, including sheep and goats and whatever it is, if they're walking along the edge of the map and they stop, sometimes they just continue to walk like that. It's pretty funny. All right, well, there are the Knights. We'll see how quickly Red reacts here because Red's got a very interesting decision here. He's going forward with villagers. Does lose a Vill. Yeah, loses a Vill. Reacts. The Knight micros away from Blue, though. Wow, very nice micro there from Blue. Loses the Knight anyways. Another Knight goes over here, but big moment. That is a castle. Blue can actually see that. But Blue would have to delete a house to deny it, and then the Lancers could go in. Blue, I do not think that you go out to deny this. This could be devastating for you. 80 villagers for Blue, though. Like, Blue's booming up like a madman. Could maybe kill some of these Vills? Yeah, okay, so, like, those Vills can get hit. But ultimately, I think the castle does go up in the end. Yeah, castle's going to be up, which means the houses are going to be shot down. The siege is no longer great defense. That's gold that Blue's going to want. And, like, I'm still waiting to see, will Blue be able to actually field an army, spend this eco to push this back? I like the forward stable, but this is now... excuse me, sorry. This has now gotten a little bit greedy. And we still don't see many stables from home. Maybe Blue could just build a castle and try and go imp to treb this down, though. I mean, Mangonels behind walls seems to be working. And this forward villager wants to make more units. This is crazy, okay. So, like, ultimately, I think Red's position is amazing if he's able to break through. So, I think what I would like to see from him is maybe his own siege. I'd like to see him prioritize the siege from the hill, though. Like, I think siege pushing from the hill is a bit better than siege pushing up the hill. But I could also see how uncomfortable this feels. Like, all you're seeing is double siege workshop, and anytime you go up against a house, there's something attacking you. So, Blue has just done a really sick job to stay protected here. Blue's also going to make some rams. Now, ramming down this castle is going to be tricky because there's still army out here. And Red thought that house went down and it was enough to get through, but needs to wait again. I don't think a ram push is going to work unless there's support for those rams. Or, of course, unless all these lancers go down. But blue is really starting to kick it up a notch. 6,000 more resources collected, by the way. That is a very big number. And red is like, what is that crap? As he runs in and sees like 5 mangonels on the other side of this. That's crazy talk. Red has no defense at home, guys. Like, if blue goes... I wonder if blue is trying to make the rams from this siege workshop and accidentally made them from the others. If there was like 3 rams and 10 knights here, red loses the TC. I mean, most likely. Here, red still can't break in. Blue's defense is stellar. We have more lancers headed this way. I think red earlier lost the lancers that were attacking the dock. This galley is 2 kills, so I think he's just trying to do anything he can, and he's going to try and attack the dock again, which is kind of funny. Still lots of production down here from blue with the sneak buildings. Red has no clue that's down there. Hey, and red frees the camel. Let's go. Okay, well, if you predicted that the camel would be freed, now you're feeling good about yourself. Lancers are going to take down the dock. It's going to take a while because Persian docks are so tanky, but I mean, then the fishing ships can't work anymore, so that is at least some more damage than can be accomplished elsewhere. And red is like, let me in, bro. Let me in. And he goes for the house, and there's a tree there. Oh, my God. That's like the second time that red has broken through a house, and there hasn't been a hole. Can you imagine, like, if he actually hit another house there, he's through. He takes out the siege. He maybe kills some vills. 2 more petards now. You got to be careful here. Blue might notice this. Okay, all right, let's see. Go, Lancers, move! Move! No! Bring the other petard! Go, 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 please! I feel so bad for red. Hit it! Hit it! He's through! No, he's not through. Oh my God, what a disaster for poor Nessie, dude. That is so unfortunate. And so expensive, too. Nessie's probably like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. And meanwhile, his Imp TC is being rammed down by blue, and blue storms him with knights. This is going to end the game. And honestly, very well played from blue. The defense from blue is fantastic. The boom from blue is fantastic. And the sneak base wins in the game. I mean, that was fast. Also, it's not like he doesn't have the upgrades. He's got full Castle Age upgrades. He had 3 rams when he made the push. Red now has clicked imp in the other TC, the only remaining TC. But probably isn't expecting that blue is also going to be an imp faster as well. That's the amazing thing. So in imp faster than the opponent would have been even if the TC wouldn't have gone down. And also had this big attack. Well played. I mean, a lot of people would have waited in blue's position to attack there. They would have waited until imp. But I like the decision. Now red doesn't have an army forward because red had to come home. And the rams have chipped away at this castle. This fight, it's going to be fine for blue. It's not going to be like an easy clear. But that's still more than acceptable. There goes the Vill to build up more army. And blue should be in a position to make some trebs from this castle. But actually, blue doesn't have gold. Well, if blue wasn't up by 70 villagers, that would be a problem. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how blue just kind of hit the limit and ran out of gold and needs to get rid of this castle quickly here. Does red see this villager? Red does not see the villager. Okay, but red sees Lycav and sees the rams. I mean, red's only food eco is here, right? So, like, red doesn't have any food. Red can at least make some trebs. So that, you know, that's something. Blue's already making some trebs, though, after selling some things at the market. And I think blue, even without gold, will still have the hill. Still can stream in Lycav with good upgrades. It's just going to be a giant mess here for red. But a fun game, dude. A fun game. Like, blue did it. Blue made it look easy, this defense, and I think red is just going to be a little embarrassed that he didn't get through, but he tried a bunch of different things here. The Step Lancers, the Petards, the Castle Drop. Really well played. And I think, like, as Blue's going to lose his Villager finally, a little surprised that Blue was able to defend so well and have that timing attack when he did. Like, taking out the MTC was clutch. Not every day you get that. And if this Cav goes over here, Red loses a bunch of ills. If any Cav is produced at home right now by Blue, Blue could just snipe the Trebs from Red. But the Castle and the Trebs for Blue are all on the hill, so Red is going to be finished off here. And guys, we have ourselves a series. Because, like, the first game, it wasn't all Nessie, but it was close. This game, I wouldn't say it was all Quiet the Pro necessarily. Obviously, Nessie gave it a real fight. But Blue looked very comfortable, so. If I had to predict, I'd say that Nessie's going to go for, like, one of the more open maps in the tournament. So maybe African Reed Beds? Or maybe, like, Langanati or something. Just try and open it up so he can be aggressive. Because clearly Blue is a boomer. And Blue played it well. And this was the strategy the whole time. 37,000 resources collected by Blue, and only 20,000 there for Nessie. And Nessie just didn't find the kills. Because the army he invested into just couldn't get any damage done. Blue made that look very easy. Again, it's pretty crazy everything he was able to accomplish there. In our final at the 1200 elo bracket, we've got a 1-1. The people here are hyped. People are dropping the YY. From Blowy the Legends yesterday. Because I think someone tried to call the GG. We never found out. But they called the YY. Yeah, YY and 1-1. Here we go. Game number 3. So, as I expected, I thought that Nessie would probably opt for a map where aggression is a little bit more possible here. There's definitely a theme, and I love that when I'm casting. Even at the very highest level, if you have, like, the aggressive micro nerd who maybe lacks strategy against, like, the slower, more strategic boomer type style player, those sets are really fun. This is not at the highest elo, of course, but 1200 elo. Produced a pretty high, solid level so far. And yeah, it seems to me that Blue is just a player who would prefer to wall or play a little bit more defensive. Blue has gone for the Mongols. Mongols can be really good here if you can get a mill down on the hunt near the berries. You do need to break down this fence to free up the cow and free up the sheep. But I think Blue is going to try and actually steal Red's sheep and cow. Let's see if Nessie sees this. Nessie seems to have noticed it. Yep, they've noticed each other here. And things could get interesting. Like, if you lose your scout, you're probably going to lose your cow and your sheep as well, right? Blue tries to get away. Oh, no! Red got trapped. He got blocked by his sheep and blocked by his cow. Okay, take some hits. And Blue says, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is going to escort these bad boys back home. Red wants to stop that, but Blue has the stronger scout, so Blue should just attack. And Red is not ready to give it up. I love this. Red is not happy about this. I do think that, honestly, it's best you just give it up. You don't want to lose your scout. He got the best of you there. You have to use your scout for other things. Now, this generation, the water is actually really far from them if they want to dock. And this can happen sometimes. So there are 2 different areas where players could justify docking to fish in Dark Age. But they're going to have to walk quite a long distance there. And so if the fish are far, then the deer are close, which I think helps Blue a lot here. Because Blue is Mongols. So, you know, Hindustani's civilization that would love the deer as well, of course, but, like, I think the best hunting civilization is going to be loving the fact that the hunt is close. On top of that, you also got the extra food from the fenced-in sheep and cows. So, not bad. Someone says both of these players will be out of their depth because they're not playing with a billion ping. Yeah, I wonder how common it is for 2 Australians to be playing on such low ping right now. There's more Australians in the community than really ever, as far as I remember, right? But still, I think it's got to be uncommon that they're queuing up against someone who wasn't from fairly far away. Like, I know in my case, it's even kind of rare for me. Like, I don't play too many people on the East US servers, which is my best server. I'm playing people in servers from like the majority of people I'm playing are from Europe or Asia or like South America, and very few from North America. The Doc's going to go up for Nessie anyways. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Blue doesn't dock. Then again, Blue did dock in the previous game, and things went pretty well for him there. But yeah, it feels like the food's going to come in pretty quickly with the Mongols. Maybe milling this and having that be your focus would make sense here. So, Ice Cream, Barbecue Turkmen, I think still works for Forgotten Empires. So he's still involved in the age scene, but he hasn't made content for like a super long time. Really nice guy. Really nice guy. I have to reach out to him at some point. T90, USA players are not 2K. I didn't say there weren't 2K players. I just said there weren't a ton of people that I would encounter on the East US servers. All right? There's some solid US players out there. More than people will give the US credit for. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I would also love to have more people who are near the East US servers being 2K plus. That would be amazing. So what is USA? It's a country that you might see in the Olympics if you watch the Olympics. That's clearly where all our talents are going, not Age of Empires 2. Oh, man. It's too complex a game for US players. Okay, Driva, where are you from? I know all the players from your country, guaranteed. Go ahead, pop it off. Where are you from, bro? You wanna start this? Because I can rattle off a lot of underrated players from the US right now. We can start it. We can make it happen. Scouts are going to come up here for Blue. And we got villagers going to gold right now for Nessie. That's interesting. I think Nessie was thinking of bringing a vill over to dock this to kill fish, which would explain the gold and the amount on wood. But there is no dock at all from Blue. And Nessie just saw that, so. He doesn't even respond. Guys, look at that. Oh, the cowardice. The cowardice. Not even a response. This individual won't even say where he's from. Who's the best US player? That would be Daniel. There's like probably around like 8 to 10 players who are 2K from the US though. We don't have many that are above like 2K2 though, right? So Daniel's the standout performer. Top 20, top 30 player. And we just don't have many at that level. Granted, a lot of countries don't, but yeah. Skoless says, I said Amsterdam, lol. Well, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to someone else. But yeah, the Netherlands really struggle with 2K plus players. There's not many. There are some. There are some that are like inactive. Like there's a player named Angelina Jolie who used to play. That's not the actual Angelina Jolie, by the way. So I've never seen them in the same room together, so who knows? But yeah, Netherlands don't really have too many players that are 2K plus, at least that are incredibly active. Yeah, Angelina Jolie is playing a little bit here or there. I caught up with him in a ranked game last month. You'd also would have like Derp, who I think is inactive now. Dark Noob, those would be the names that would come to mind from the Netherlands. So scouts for Quiet the Pro looking for some damage here and knew the dock was up. And we talked about this player maybe being a little bit more defensive, but this is a pretty good start. Now, it doesn't have the fish, of course, but will find that villager kill and still has this hunt and the berry area kind of controlled right now. Nice job. Yeah, Angelina Jolie, it was funny. We were playing a ranked game. And we were, like, catching up on life during our Dark Age, and both of our Dark Ages were awful. It was a good time. He and I go way back. This is a little sloppy here for Nessie. Both those spears taking some hits. Noticing lots of villagers on stone right now for Blue, so maybe Blue's thinking right now about Mangadai, but definitely needs to prioritize the food eco, right? Like, that's a lot to have on stone when you're not even close to being in the Castle Age. Might eventually adjust that. Nessie places a mill on the berries. I really like Nessie's farming eco. And remember, Nessie also still has fishing ships. So, like, all those things are adding up for me to put Nessie in a really nice position. But this isn't going to be good. Again, Blue hoping for Vil snipes with the scouts. And we'll find another Vil pick. Might even find another one if the blocking's correct. Look at this low ping action. Look at the micro. Let's go. Bam. That was some nerdy movement right there. Let's go. That was really well played. I can't really explain why Blue is on stone so heavily, except for the fact that I think Blue is so focused on the scout micro that Blue probably just didn't notice it, right? They're 1200. There's a lot going on. They're clearly very fast. And, oh, man, Red's going to run through. And Blue reacts with some house walls here. And the scouts are now just running through. Just running through again? Okay. It wasn't the best trip ever for Red. But I am still noticing less idle time overall. Blues had villagers just standing around here for a second. Again, a lot of villagers still on stone, which I don't think is immediately helpful. So I look back to Red's base. I know Red's probably feeling it right now. Lost the previous game, kind of got slapped around a little bit. But the farming eco is looking really nice. The food here is safe and protected. And I'm concerned for Blue. I think, like, a player in Blue's position is going to need to rely on the market to have a competitive castle age time right now. Boer says, that's funny. Today I was watching Tim and Angelina Jolie from Hidden Cup 3 qualifiers. That got a lot of views. We did put Angelina Jolie on the thumbnail, though. So that might be why that particular qualifier series from Hidden Cup 3 got the views that it did. Imagine where Age of Empires 2 would be if Angelina Jolie would be like a top 10 player, you know? The clickbait YouTube would have... YouTube titles would maybe brought in more people. I'm not sure if it would bring in the right people, you know, but still could bring in some names. And like we said, Red on the way to Castle Age. Villagers snipe. Obviously not the prettiest for the scouts, but hey, a Vil kill is a Vil kill. And there's the market now from Blue. Blue's got enough stone to build a castle, but Blue needs to make it to Castle Age now, and it's going to have to use the market to do that. And now second stable coming up from Nessie. Blue is murdering the market right now. And, oh, God, this is so painful. Look how many clicks on the market. Oh, and then drops off the gold and is missing one gold. And, okay, there we go. Finally gets enough. Now, doesn't have the stone to build a castle, but it's really close to it. I mean, thankfully the market exists. If the market wasn't here, I think with just the lack of, like, food eco, Blue would have never made it to Castle Age. You could see the difference. It might not seem like a lot, but 600 food's a pretty big deal. And obviously Blue is caught up in that regard a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I'm expecting this to be Mangudai. Now, what's interesting is I think Red is kind of expecting that because Red saw that a lot of the stone was being taken when he ran underneath the TC twice. So I think he just kind of... He wanted to abort the plan because Blue was going to trap him in. But him losing those scouts or just being underneath the TC in the first place did give him some crucial information. And so with villagers on stone, I'm thinking maybe eventually we might see Ghoulems. I don't know how Ghoulems do against Mangudai, but Ghoulems are good against archers, so... Hold on. Is this a forward castle right now? from Blue? I think it... Oh, it might be a middle castle. A castle in the middle next to the gold could be really nice. There are some spears to protect from the camels. The camels have attack. They have armor, but they're still camels against spears. And there's not many spears anymore. Here come the Vils. Blue, just drop it in the middle. Okay. Interesting. Really interesting, actually. I actually don't hate that. This puts a lot of pressure on Red now. If this castle goes up, it's going to be so difficult for Nessie to walk across the map. And still feels like, you know, there's enough vills to build this castle. There's enough spears to protect for now. And so castle's going to go up. And the pressure's going to be on here for Nessie, who wanted that aggressive style game, wasn't really able to get it in the way that they were hoping. At least from what I can see. So I assume Mangadai production is going to be happening here shortly. What's the situation now for Nessie? Nessie is about to have the stone for his own castle. Now, where would you place this castle? I don't hate this. This castle protects the extra golden stone. I don't hate that at all. I would personally say a slight tweak might be better because you've got so much eco in the middle that's exposed, right? So I would say maybe a castle right here, just on the hill in between your woodline and your TC. And then town centering this area would maybe be preferable. But then again, like, there's still, if you're worried about Mangadai, camels can still help with that. In theory, though, right now, Red is going to run out to counterattack with his camels. And a scout is in, a Mangadai is in. And then there's another Mangadai over here, too. So there's just a lot of stuff happening right now. But camels are going to be here. The camels will push that away, no problem. And camels are actually faster than the Mangadai too. And the Mangadai don't have Bodkin Arrow, so I'm still concerned as Blue even goes for... Was that preemptive? Or was that a quick wall? Man, I am like really impressed with these two. I want to see what happens here. Does Blue just notice this? What? What? What is 1200 elo in 2024? What in the world? Actually quick walls that. And then understands he needs to drop the stone wall there. The overall balance from Blue is really not there, right? We've got like triple range for what I assume was Cav Archers, but then ended up going for a castle and making Mangadai anyways. The eco upgrades, I guess, could maybe be a little better for both, but kept himself alive there. Red, though, is going to have camels and golems. Both things should be good against Mangadai, so... And, ooh, there is a hole here. Blue can't get the quick wall, and now the camels are through. And this could be annoying, because all that army, well, I say army, there's not a big army. Whatever Blue has is not anywhere close to home, because the production is in the middle. And Red finally finds some reward for getting into Blue's base. Evening up the Vil count. At least, you know, the Vil kills at this point. Still wondering if we're going to see a second town center at all for Red. You know, I think that is where, if you're seeing the higher ranks, 13, 14, 15, 1600, there probably would be on that second TC by now. These guys do a really good job at managing a balance between the attacks and their eco, though. I'm sure there's going to be mistakes here or there, but it's like any issues I'm finding for either player is because the other player had a good play. So really fun elo to watch here. Golems. Out and about. Solid Pierce armor. Again, should be great against Mangadai. Blue hasn't exactly made many Mangadai in the first place. I think that's got to be the key. That is like your best unit as the Mongols, and you got to start massing that now, because you can only produce out of the castle. Blue clearly struggling a little bit, trying to get the farming eco up. The camels run through. This looks super annoying. Camel finally goes down. The farming eco is needed, though. So, you know, that's a good addition here. And not seeing much in the way of Mangadai production. And oh, no. We complimented the quick walls before. There has been an overchop. And the golems are in. And this is going to be devastating for Blue. You know, ever since that castle went up, he hasn't really accomplished a ton. He kind of poked around with the Mangadai for a minute. But he doesn't notice this. And the golems are through. And they're devastating Blue's eco. And you still have to find an answer for these golems. Red's going to have 20 of them soon. It's not like he doesn't have other groups around to maybe raid this area. This might have been where Blue was looking. Nice job from Red, though. Red now has killed 16 Vils. And does have a villager lead as we see TC number 2. So, again, the theme of this series is really shaping up for something special here. Because Red reinforcing my thinking that he's maybe the more aggressive open map style player. And then Blue's collapse here, making me think that Blue prefers to boom, right? And so if I had to like guess right now, I'd say fortified clearing or something that's easily wallable would be Blue's remaining home map. But this is clearly a bad position for him. Arson is in for Nessie, and he actually takes out the mining camp. So Arson pays for itself. It's a slaughter there. It's a slaughter here. It's a slaughter here. And Blue is just thinking, what can I do? And, well, I would say you maybe prepare for game number 4. Because any suggestion I could have given to you, Blue, probably too little too late. This went from a 4-4 Eco KD game to 33-4 in like 2 minutes. Started when the Ghoulems got through here, and then Red immediately went over to this side. I think like Red was hitting this area while the other army was still on Blue's mind, and while Blue was still trying to find an answer there. You know, in a pro game, I would think that the middle castle leaves you exposed at home, right? It leaves you exposed on the sides. And that's actually kind of what played out here, too, right? Like, a castle more defensively would have actually helped Blue, I think. But I also think that Blue just didn't have a lot of faith in the Mangudai, you know? And Blue is still losing Vills. And I remember in game number 1 when Blue lost, like, Blue played on for a while. Like, Blue was just like, I'm not going to give up until I really fight this one out. And it seems to be a similar thing here. This is not getting any better. So more Ghoulems getting the kills. That is not going to stop. Pretty soon there could be enough Ghoulems to maybe take out the castle or maybe take out this TC. I don't mind Lancers. Like, I think Lancers could be pretty good against the Ghoulems. Obviously, you do then have to think about the potential of camels from the Hindustanis. Remember, like, super cheap Vills for the Hindustanis. It's super smooth to have an eco like this. Red just deletes his fishing ships. I respect that so much. Probably should add fish traps, but Red's like, I ain't got time for that. That's exactly what I would do, most likely. And, okay, a little Blue counterattack as he buys some food just to get his boom going again. Which, you know, is certainly needed here. I think Red just taking his foot off the gas for a second. Think about the next steps. Did enough to force a resign out of the opponent. But opponent didn't resign, and now, you know, more Ghoulems converge. All the Ghoulems are actually going to be in the same spot here. And Blue just getting slaughtered yet again. A couple camels can come over to deal with these Lancers, so the counter raid won't accomplish much. And I actually think the TC could be taken out. If all the Ghoulems were here, I think the TC would just go down. And yeah, Blue taps out and calls the GG finally. So 55-4 Eco KD for Red. What I liked about that from Red is Red was consistent. Remember, initially, Blue killed the villagers with the Scout Rush. But Red was consistent with the economy. So seemed to be in a better spot. Added the fish. Was farming a lot more than Blue was. And then even if the castle went up, we still saw lots of army production. I like the transition into his own castle. The Ghoulam was a really nice choice. I don't think a lot of players would do that. And, again, my thing was, like, how many Mangudai were actually created this game? 7. So Blue, I guess maybe the castle was meant to be, like, a game finisher. It wasn't for Mangudai, but it was for a castle on Red's face. And then he ended up castling the middle because he realized that Red was going to stop a forward castle. That could have been it. Like, that's where I'm at, because Blue had 3 ranges. So I think at one point Blue said, I'm going to go triple range Cav Archers. And then he also wanted to go Mangudai, and then in the end, he didn't really focus on Cav Archers or Mangudai. So things just didn't really flow together nicely there. And Nessie goes up 2-1. So great stuff. Nessie wins on his home map. So we had the neutral map go to Nessie. Home map for Quiet the Pro go to Quiet the Pro, and now home map for Nessie go his way. So I guess we'll see if the theme continues here, because I'm thinking we have a very closed map. Maybe Fortified Clearing up next, where Quiet the Pro could boom. Like maybe Burgundians. Just a civilization with crazy eco. Again, we're not looking at drafts now, but that would be where my guess would be with blue here. Game number 4. I wasn't expecting Fractal. In fact, I kind of forgot that it was in this. So we've got game 4 at 1200 Elo final in our community tournament. The games have been amazing so far. And this would have been Blue's choice most likely because Blue just lost the previous game. So just to gloss over this map real quick. So a big thing is if you want to get to the fish, normally you want to lumber camp here. So you can chop through 3 trees and then access the outer fish. And so what you'll see sometimes is you'll see players try and deny that wood, but also try and steal the only elephant. This is the only elephant on the map for red. Each player gets 1, and so Quiet Pro trying to lame here with the Goths. And is actually, it sent the villager to the side, has now brought the villager in. Goths do also kill Hunt much faster. Oh, God. Oh, no! Oh, no! Disaster for Blue! I mean, the elephant's almost dead. What do you do here? The scout went down for Blue. Blue's really close to the TC. The scout stops for red, though. Oh, no. Red. Careful. No garrison. Scout's dead for blue. Scout's dead for red. Oh, man. What a sequence. You could definitely tell that, red didn't want to give it up. Red was like, I know it's unlikely that I'm going to do anything at this point, but I need to try because losing that elephant is massive. In the end, now it's 2 elephants for blue, 0 for red. Red also doesn't have a scout to push in deer. And red lumber camped here. This is a bad start for Nessie. Again, I don't know what 1200 Elo players are going to do. But what you should aim to do on this map is you should try and get your lumber camp wedged in here. And I think blue came in prepared and is going to wall this. Yo, dude. Okay, the second part of blue's name, very accurate. This is a pro move. Now, I'd like to see multiple Palisades, personally, because Dark Age Palisades are kind of weak. But red is going to struggle. I mean, red was never going to lumber camp over here anyways at this point, it seems like. But red is, never going to access the fish. And we'll see if blue's thinking about that. This villager actually walks over here and is going to push the zebra home. Okay, I'll give 20 subs if blue actually pushes that back to the TC. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, blue, but that's a lot of focus. And it had already taken 1 hit. So I kind of figured that you would accidentally click it. I didn't think you'd do it right away. I thought maybe you'd get it near the relic, but okay, a lot of things have happened. Lumber camp for blue going up in the position that I spoke of. But 2 elephants plus the hunt lasts longer for Goths. This is a really good start for blue. I could send us to game 5 then. Now, something I recognize after having played this more is villagers get stuck here. And even if you shift queue them to the proper trees, sometimes they won't go to the tree you want. But you could tell that blue definitely paid attention to the first tree and now the second. This is what I would do if I'm blue. I would play completely safe from here. I think this also suits blue's style, but basically, you want to wall in front of your TC from woodline to woodline. Any stone and gold you want, you just take here, and then you just fish boom like a madman. You should know, I get it, you're in the dark, though, so you don't exactly know everything, but you should know your opponent is not going to fish as quickly as you. And if anything, they're going to prioritize some land aggression. But this is bad for red. I don't even think red can realistically make it to feudal age at a decent time. I mean, look at this. No food underneath the TC. 10 villagers on berries, and they're bumping and they're bumping. And so, maybe some farms would be needed here, but I really just don't feel as though this is a good situation for Nessie. Yeah. It's just not. It just ain't pretty. But, you know, when Blue won before, Blue had a really solid game plan for the home map. And it worked out again here to have a game plan specifically on how to play this. Can I get a smile from people in chat who played in this community tournament? Not necessarily this bracket, but we had over 200 people play in the Community Cup. Because I just have like a general question. Okay, we got some smiles. Lots of frowns, guys. What are we doing? Okay, more smiles. We got Soaring Ostrich with 65 months. Thank you, Soaring Ostrich. Sunny Peepee, thanks for the 37. Okay, so you smilers out there. Did you guys, like, let's say you're in the third week, the third round, okay? Did you watch your opponent's recorded games at all? Right? Did you see, like, ooh, what did they draft? What strategies did they do? Or did you just kind of YOLO it? I'm curious. Speaking of YOLO, I think Red's going to have to be very YOLO. Okay, you guys did your research. That's pretty sick. Because I wonder if Nessie did, right? Because, like, losing the elephant right away, that's something that I've at least talked about in pro games could always happen on this map, and I feel like you should, you know, maybe done your homework. I don't know if Blue played it before, but you could be like, okay, he's going to steal the elephant. Let's just bring in that elephant right away. He was right there, though. Like, his scout was right next to it, so maybe he felt like he was still fine. Palmat says, many of my set wins I attributed to bans. Yeah, like banning out what people like. It makes sense. Okay, so what has Blue done? So Blue did dock and is actually going for a galley. That's interesting. So is going to try and get a galley on the shoreline to stop any potential docks. Hasn't fished yet, though. Doesn't have military yet. And there's going to be a donjon on his face. And Red, he doesn't have fish, but neither does Blue, at least right now. And this, you know, with a sergeant or two and some Vil fighting here, this could get out of hand very quickly here for Blue. The Blue's going to try and rush this down. We've got a sergeant on the way, so what Red needs to do is keep this donjon up. You cannot lose it, so you do need to repair it a little bit. The sergeant's going to handle the rest, and ooh, man, Nessie's like, how do you like dem apples? Yeah, and I'm going to build another one, too. This is sick. It also takes the berries. So you could actually build this donjon and then take the berries away from Blue. Blue is in trouble. You might be like, how's Blue going to get, like, some defense out for this? Well, we do have the barracks now, and then could eventually be an archer range, and then needs to be fishing ships, too. There's that galley. So, I mean, the galley is sitting at a spot where it would find Red if Red eventually chops through. But I don't think Red's going to look at that for a very long time. Interesting one, though, right? Because Red has no real way to disrupt the fish. So, when I played Masty in the Champions Finals, he was nerding out like crazy. Like, it was actually stressing me out so much. But I just knew, because he's going for land army, and because of how the game flowed, I knew he wasn't fishing. So I'm just like, okay, whatever happens, we had fish. And that's what Blue needs to do right now. Whatever happens, fish, 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 fish. I like this. I like the idea behind it. Blue also needs to just remember, and Blue might not remember this, there is a gold tier. So if you need gold, that is available. But it's gone for a stable? Kind of feels like Blue wants to go Castle Age right now. And Red, dropping donjon number 3. Red still doesn't have a farm. I would love to see some farming eco here. Blue, selling wood. This is very reminiscent of the previous game where Blue is trying to use the market a ton, but doesn't have the best of eco balances. I don't think this is completely walled. I think there's still a hole here, and if those sergeants get in, that could make it awkward. It's only 2 sergeants with no upgrades, but oh man. Sergeants make it through. This is actually the right play. Just fight it off with Vils. It sucks, but just like get rid of it. And Red realizes there's opportunity here and is gonna bring in more villagers for another donjon. Sergeants are insane though. If it was any more than 2 sergeants, I wouldn't recommend fighting with Vils. Because they're so tanky, but there you go. red going to Donjon and then kind of house wall. Blue is on the way to Castle Age, though. And, you know, it's just, there has not been solid food economy here for red at all. Red did relocate the lumber camp here because blue had the galley here. So the galley is paid off. Red won't be fishing anytime soon. It's kind of crazy that TC has no protection right now. But it's many tower hits away from going down, and there's not enough sergeants to take it down before Castle Age hits. And blue now adding another dock. And what has blue done? Blue has denied the fish from the opponent. Blue has now been fish booming. These fishing ships are bringing in fish so efficiently. And in Castle Age, blue can maybe build new TCs back here. Blue could also maybe make a knight or two. Blue's collected, crazy to say it, but 2,000 more resources here. And it will only get worse. Is red going to try and rush this down? Red's like, this has been awfully quiet. There's no villagers here to garrison. Red is going to attack the TC. Oh, man, can you imagine if red would have done this a little bit earlier? Blue should be looking at this like, am I going to lose the TC? Is this a problem? Now the villagers come to jump inside in a panic. The sergeants go directly for them, but now that the villagers make it to the TC, the arrows will fire, and red needs to get out of here. I actually really like that move from red, though. But it was also the perfect reaction from blue to just garrison in the TC. So 6 fish for blue could be way more, right? Could easily get up to 10, 12, 15, 16. Red can see everything except for this area. And red's like, where is he? What's he going to do? And actually spots the villagers. Blue's going to double back with some of them. But red should know now that blue's trying to do something funky over here. Some villagers still escaping, though, probably to build a safe TC. Unfortunately, sergeants are just very slow. And so it's been tough right now for Nessie to actually kill many vills. And there goes TC number 2 for blue. I think red thought about it. Like, was like, man, I need Castle Age. And then once blue hit castle, red realized, I can't. Because it's going to take so long. More armies actually the best move for me here. I can completely understand the thinking. But obviously, if the army doesn't do something for you, you then are just not going to be in Castle Age anytime soon. And there's a bunch of weak villagers here, and the sergeants are going to feast. They're feasting on vills, and by feasting on vills, I mean this is just a sampler, because they have not really had a taste yet. There we go. Well, I mean, not exactly a feast. Just like a really crappy appetizer, but the idle time is something. And blue's got both these TCs filled with vills. Blue is going to house wall this up, which is actually insanely smart. And maybe blue needs to farm over here. But still about 2,000 more resources collected from blue. The villagers have all stayed alive. And this is just so typical for him. Like, blue just wants to be on 4 TCs producing vills. That's it. Blue doesn't care about your other, any of your ideas. Just wants to boom. And I also love how red's playing the game. Like, red could have easily just forgotten about this or thought that blue didn't escape over here. But now sees the houses and realizes that blue did get some eco over here. I am very interested in what happens in this game when red makes it to Castle Age. Now, that might be an if, because red's going to have the resources for Castle Age, but not the buildings. Yep, he just bought wood because he realized he didn't have the blacksmith. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There's the blacksmith. But, like, Sicilians build castles super fast, and red's got tons of map control. So I'm foreseeing a red castle drop on blue's face here. And a castle here would be in range of 3 town centers almost. But by then, blue might have been able to chop through to escape with all the vills. And also, you can go this way. Again, really intelligent thinking here from blue. And so blue is going along the shoreline, and these villas are going to be out just as these villagers are out as well. Red isn't in Castle Age T90. No. I know he's not, but I'm saying when he makes it to castle, he could drop a castle right on blue. So, But blue is pretty heavy on stone right now, and blue may actually get a castle first. I wonder if red realizes how bad this situation is. Blue just drops another TC. Like, my suggestion for blue in this position would be try and get some map control back before this gets bad, right? So, like, maybe just buy the castle, and then... another TC? He's on 6 town centers with his only military being this random scout. But yeah, same deal. Like, you want to go for your TCs, you could do that, but I also think maybe just buy a castle and, like, I don't know, drop a castle here or something. Drops the TC, spams the farms. Going for that eco. And the eco wins games. 8 to 5 KD. Close enough if you can manage getting a 30 eco lead at this stage of the game. Again, red about to be in Castle H. Sicilians do build TCs faster, so if red wants to catch up, maybe he could do it. But yeah, like red just doesn't know how good blue has it right now. Red needs some crazy aggression. The sergeants get stronger in castle. So that changes. This sergeant just exploring around. Someone says, would it be too strong if sergeants could build castles? Yeah, I think that'd be a problem. I think that'd be a problem. And all right, so red sergeant saw the 2 TCs here. Doesn't know how like crazy the eco for blue is back here. Plus, you can't really access it. So red's gonna bring the vills and castle drop this. I don't mind it. Like, you need a castle drop, whether it is on the northern TCs or the western TCs. You just need a castle drop on his face, lots of army, and you need to kill something fast. And that's a good castle. Now, blue wouldn't really be able to escape with these vills if this got bad. And there's like 20 vills here. So, like, yeah, this could get out of hand fast. The sergeants are no joke. Like, sergeants are going to be better than, or at least, like, similar to a longsword. And the castle fire will be here, too. Like, the TCs will eventually go down. Blue needs some form of support here. I wonder if blue's going to try and drop a castle. I'm a little worried for blue. If blue were to drop the castle here, it might be denied. I think building a castle behind it... Oh, shoot. Oh... Okay, he thought twice about it. That's actually really good. Guys, we've seen a lot of people, even pro players, place that castle and then regret it. Fletching was on the way as well from Nessie. And he was knocking on the house here too. So he would have had sergeants in. The castle would have had more range. This is just to keep these vills alive. And I actually think it's really good. It's just to keep the vills alive. Red cannot be in here if this castle's up. So you could get away with losing this TC. You just want these vills to be mining away, and that's fine. It's now 17,000 resources collected from blue this game. 11k from red, and red is not really catching up. Red still doesn't have a second TC, so red just needs damage. But everywhere he goes, there's a town center or some form of defense or resistance here. And blue's on the way to imp. Which TC? Back TC, of course. I gotta hand it to blue. Blue is sneaky good with the boom, man. Very greedy, like, to levels that I wouldn't necessarily want to suggest to most people. But it's impressive how blue has been able to get a nice economic position and hold on to it. That's exactly what happened in the Coast and Mountain game, and that's exactly what has happened here. Someone says red should have really killed the market. I mean, blue's got 30 on wood. Blue could probably make a new market. But yeah, maybe trying to bust through the buildings in general a bit earlier could have been better. At the end of the day, blue is going to be in the Imperial Age soon. Could use this castle to make trebs. Also building up barracks to probably go for longswords. And eventually champion. I think Nessie might be trying to aim for the Imperial Age here, too. Has the food, or really need the gold for it? But odds are we get a 5th game from this series here, guys. It's been really solid. Someone says, interesting because the series shows that boom or feudal aggression will win you games 50% of the time. Well, I mean, if this game goes the way we think it's going to go, yeah, I guess. But we might need to look at a larger sample size. It's like, I could see a bunch of, like, let me back up. It was a valid point. But honestly, Blue could have easily been punished in the Coast to Mountain game and in this game if a couple things didn't go his way. Red, in some of these victories, could have also been punished for lack of eco if a couple things didn't go his way. So it really shows you a balanced series between two players who just have different skill sets. And that's why this was selected for me to cast. So it's pretty cool. I like it. It's been fun to like go into the game understanding the player styles too. It's going to be two-handed swordsman here for Blue out of these barracks in the back. And adding some more houses over here. Added some pikes, I guess, for the knight. I think he created that knight and it got converted. So that's kind of funny. He went pikeman to kill it. Blue finally lost the starting TC just now. 96 vills. Red will be an imp in 90 seconds. But Red's got to be like thinking, where is the flood? I was actually, speaking of flood, playing some Halo 1 campaign this morning with my fiance for a little bit because she's sick, and I had an hour or two to kill, and we've been trying to play. She'd never played the Halo campaign, so we're starting from the first one and working our way through. She's not a very big fan of the flood. Did Blue just delete that Vil? Blue, it's been a very good game for you, so forgive me as I rewind here. Or was the villager killed? Oh, no, I think the villager was killed. Never mind. Villager was killed. That's a lot of sergeants. 17 sergeants. Two-handed swordsmen have a lot more attack than a sergeant, though. Sergeants will have more armor, but 12 attack is no joke. And Blue should have more armor here in a moment. And Blue also has a Treb here, neatly positioned on the hill. Again, probably an intentional detail, which is really nice to see. I definitely wouldn't put my Trebs on a hill there. I just wouldn't even care about it. And GG's called. We have a 2-2 here. It's been back and forth. And this Aussie showdown has been a treat. Now, Nessie, maybe you can look at the Coast to Mountain game and say, well, there was so much in my control and I should have tweaked that thing or, that strategy or that gameplay aspect. This game, I do just have to say, getting lamed on Fractal is brutal, right? Like, losing that elephant when you only have one immediately set Nessie behind, which is probably why he wasn't able, to accomplish as much. It still was, though, very well thought out from Blue. Like, he understood that it's one elephant per player, so he stole one. And then he also knew that fish were important, and he walled this up and added the galley, so Red could never get out to fish as well. So the fish were a big deal early, as were the elephant, and then Blue also just loves to boom and just completely outboomed Red, and that's, at this point, could just produce so much more infantry. Red knew it. Red could never really compete. I thought it was a good attempt from Red, considering the circumstances, but again, 2-2 here, guys. 2-2. Should be Nessie's home map next, though. Which I imagine is a map that is more open than Fractal and more open than than some of the maps that Quiet the Pro might like. All right, so game number 5, we've got Golden Lakes, and again, the back and forth in this whole series, which has been so good, is that I feel as though Quiet the Pro loves his walls and he loves his eco. And if Quiet the Pro can have that this game, I think Byzantines are the superior civ in this matchup the longer this game goes on. Japanese, on the other hand, though, for Nessie, this is a civ which is really crisp in the early stages in this map. The cheaper mills, mining camps, lumber camps make things super fluid for you. And then your fishing ships are incredibly efficient, and there's lakes here to contest. So if you were to look at Four Lakes, the ranked version, this has way less fish. This is a tournament map, not like a ranked map. So Japanese would be way better in a ranked game. There's only 6 deep fish here. But it is 350 food. Kind of forgot about that. They're actually dolphins, so you will hear the occasional squeak or chirp or call. I don't know. I don't know what a dolphin does. I should know this, but I don't. Byzantines are great at contesting the pond. So, like, if you can get a dock up where someone else is fishing with Byzantines, you're pretty much set. Their fire ships are super strong. I also like Byzantines because the vision you get from the TC, the free TC upgrades, it gives you so much potential for defense as well, and you're unlikely to be surprised by a sneaky dock if you're playing as Byzantines. And then eventually, players need to get to the gold in the middle. But anywhere there was gold, there was cracked terrain, and buildings on cracked terrain receive more damage. So they go down much faster. And then if you're at the bottom of the hill as well, it's like cracked terrain plus you're at the bottom of the hill. Your TCs, your castles, everything just kind of get destroyed. So it's going to be tough. T90 wasn't listening to his fiance. Yeah, like how would you describe a dolphin sound? Like what do you say, guys? If you were to say the sound that a dolphin makes, what's the word for it? Is it just like a call? A cackle? Oh, I kind of like cackle. It's not a roar. A chirp? Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about it. Yeah, I do know the person to ask because my fiance is a marine biologist. So, again, it's a little embarrassing. I don't think she's listening to the stream right now, so just don't clip this and don't tell her. Thank you. It's kind of wild, though. Like, this is normal for us. But just to, like, kind of explain, like, something that happened the other day, that is just, again, just normal for us. We were driving home from somewhere, and she was like, oh, my God, this is amazing. And I said, what? And she goes, a shark washed up on the beach in X city or whatever, and I'm going to get to scan the tail. And so yesterday she sent me a photo of her holding a, like, 6 or 7 foot long bloody shark tail that, you know, she's going to do research on and whatnot. Again, that's normal for us, but I also feel like that's not really a normal situation for most people. So, quick walls, Nessie, game 5, pressure's on. Oh, and Nessie loses the Vil. Quiet, the pro gets the kill. That is a big deal. Because, so you might initially think, oh, he just killed a Vil. But killing the Vil and denying the dock means that Blue's going to be up 2 to 3 eco here. Blue has the dock up, is going to be on fishing ship number 2 here in a second. So that's pretty significant, and especially if Blue can keep the scout alive, things are going to be looking good for Blue in the early stages. So Japanese dock denied. That's one of the real reasons you want to be playing Japanese in the first place. Dock finally goes up. I'm sure the fishing ships are going to come out. But nice job there from Blue, and very little hesitation. It's also, I think, frustrating for Red because Red kept the scout nearby too to protect it, but still didn't work out. Oh, wow. We have a very long paragraph about dolphins. Let's see. In general, dolphins make 2 kinds of sounds, whistles and clicks. Clicks are used to sense their surroundings through echolocation, while they use whistles to communicate with other members of their species and very likely with other species too. It is also thought that each dolphin has a unique whistle called a signature whistle, which is used to identify an individual. Okay, well, thank you there, GMF, for that little copy-paste. The other thing that Blue knows right now, too, is that Blue knows that Nessie is docked here, so I wouldn't mind a sneak villager coming over here and to drop a dock to kill those fish. It would make things really tough for Red. We got villagers headed to gold here for Nessie. Nessie checking this pond to the north. I know it's called Golden Lakes, but this is very clearly a pond. I remember I think Nilly was the first one to use this in the tournament. And I'm pretty sure, because I'm weird like that, I told him, can you rename it to Golden Ponds? It never happened. But, If your opponent hasn't docked here, I think you could safely assume your opponent has docked here if you're looking to kill those fish. The Thai Guy Official says, is this live right now? This is a live stream and a live cast of games that were played at some point in the last week. So yes, technically live, but also depending on, you know, what you actually meant, this would be recorded games. Yes. Red's about to hit Feudal Age. This is going to be a Villager exposed, and you better believe Nessie is pissed about what happened earlier. Kind of interesting, though. Who's going to lose the Scout here? Ooh, okay. So the Scout goes down for blue, and the Villager... Dude, that's sick for Red. Because you don't need HP on the Scout, really, at this point. You just want information. Now you've eliminated the opponent's Scout and killed the villain. You're suddenly feeling a little bit better about life. And this is to determine the winner of this bracket in our community tournament and the greatest 1200 elo Australian in the world. I'm sure there's other 1200 Australian players, but they're not in the tournament, so it doesn't matter. All right. Greatest in the world. The pressure is on. The palms are sweaty and the mom's spaghetti. 6 fishing ships over here for blue. Again, with Byzantines, you've got a lot of vision here because of the free Town Watch upgrade, so it's really helpful. But there's no galley or anything here to protect, so... Oh, wow, this is actually interesting. Red can't build over the box turtle, so Red would have to build the dock to the left of it, which would just be in Blue's vision. If the box turtle was somewhere else, this dock might actually go up without being spotted. But yeah, this is just like super typical for Blue. Blue's like, all right, I'm just going to wall up. I'm just going to try and play safe. And then Red's like trying to mix in archers. Added the galley here to protect. Adding the dock here to attack. And, oh, hold on. Quick walls from Nessie. Nessie with the quick walls. I mean, that could have been denied by the Vil. Now, Blue noticed this, and Blue clicked the galley, but now you probably want to cancel that galley, because once the dock is up, it's all about fire galleys here. These dolphins are freaking squeaking at me, dude. Scouting here from Nessie, realizing there's still no walls down. I'd love to see the archers come forward now. They're going to be coming forward soon. If the archers get into Blue's main eco here, it will be horrible. Also, Red Scout dipping, dodging, weaving, making it out alive. Pressure on right now for Blue. But I think that the Vil will be sniped at least. Yeah, Vil's going to be sniped, but I mean, the fishing ships are super exposed. This is an issue. Blue didn't go to gold on time. You could see how he's trying to fix that now. And Blue is still trying to go for like a big wall off over here, which is very ambitious. With some small walls between these wood lines, Blue would probably be okay. And Blue's on the way to Castle Age. Blue does not know the opponent has archers, and it's not just going to be archers, it's going to be archers with fletching. And again, the fishing ships are exposed here too. So, I think Blue's plan is just make it to Castle Age and adapt. And just drop TCs, right? Like, that is pretty much been how Blue has won this game. Play safe, or, you know, won 2 games. But there's a lot of complicated aspects to this map. Dude, Blue. Okay, as you do this, can you please place some palisade walls behind this? Because it's extremely unlikely this is going to hold this army out forever. Nice work so far, though. Might be a little bit discouraging for Red. Red's got to do other things. And okay, so those houses buy time. And then more houses behind will keep the archers out. Look at the food count for Blue. I mean, if Blue, again, can get TCs down, could get a really healthy Vil count. It's interesting. Red is trying to play it like the pros. Like, galley at home to defend, forward dock and fires, mixing in archers too. So there's like 3 different things that Red is trying to do. But because Red is trying to play it like a pro and Red's not a pro, there's 3 minutes of idle TC time, right? Like, it's hard to do all that at once. Blue is essentially like, I'm going to play to the best of my abilities. I'm not going to worry myself with all that crap. And I boom. And so he just makes it to castle game 5. And he's going to YOLO a TC up in the middle. And he was thinking about trying to get a TC up over here, but did notice that the archers are there from red. I would say you might want to just drop a TC, like, safe back here if you're blue. But I guess a TC here would be great because you're on wood and then you're also on stone. And blue's like... Blue's just going to sneak over here anyways. Dude, I love this guy. This is funny, dude. I love this. Like... Listen, I think too many people try and emulate the pros. This goes all the way up to like 18 or 1900. You have to play towards comfort. You have to play towards what is actually achievable. And oftentimes, picking an extreme and not trying to balance out 6 different things is going to be the best for you. So let's see what red does from here. 6-2 eco KD. Red's got 4 fishing ships. Blue just has 1. Red obviously still in a very nice position, but the resources collected is dead even. Blue probably going to climb ahead in that regard. So I want to see again, what can blue see? Yeah, there will be no surprises here, right? Because blue can see everything because of the Byzantine vision. So what would I suggest from red here? Well, a big thing for red is red doesn't know about this TC. But I think second TC makes a lot of sense. Upgrading your archers also makes a lot of sense. Is blue going to drop another freaking TC here? I saw blue buy stone, so I'm thinking that blue's going to try it again. So far, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, but I think blue is certainly going to be thinking about it. I wouldn't mind a siege push onto this TC. I love the idea of a couple knights to run around too. Japanese cav archers are strong, and so we're going to see double range Japanese cav archers from Nessie. Try and find some damage somewhere. And we'll actually run right through the TC. Just passing, though. Red notices. We'll see if blue notices. Yeah, and red's just going to park those cav archers right on the hill. There's also archers here as well. This is where, this is where you should be thinking siege push every time. Cracked terrain, bottom of a hill. Siege pushing that would be sick. Actually, I'm noticing Nessie is buying stone right now. I think Nessie might try and castle drop it. I know that the archers went down here, but I like how, red is really trying to split groups and make blue work for this right now. From blue's perspective, there's a lot of enemy army. It's very active and tough to deal with. And oh my god, he is actually sending a Vil this way. It's a bit late, but it is some type of, offensive movement. Not going to work, though, because the galley's there in defense. All right, here come the Vils. So it's kind of interesting, right? That is a castle that is good to take out the TC. That castle could be really bad in a Treb war. But it's pretty early. It's unlikely we'll see a Treb war anytime soon. Who do you think takes this game, guys? One army from blue, and it's just the Mangonel. That's it. It's been extreme greed, but loves the eco, and has gained a pretty significant lead again, right? Meanwhile, red's trying to go for all this army, all these upgrades, all this military stuff, you know? And blue will see the castle is coming up and is going to now drop a castle at the top of the hill. Now, again, in a Treb war situation, this is an amazing position now. Only thing I'll say is that these Vils can't really mine golds easily. Or as easily as if the castle was a little closer to one of the golds. Blue dropping more farms here. Hoping to wall up this direction, just so no more army doesn't loop around. And red's like, oh my god, we're going to take out that TC, we're going to kill these Vils, and red's going to run through, and red's going to see a castle. Crazy, man. It's blue is always one step ahead with that, defensive move. And again, really helps when you can see everything with the Byzantines. Look at all this vision. I'm still not sure. In the previous games, we had a lot of blue booming, and then red couldn't actually harass or idle stuff. Here, red can actually harass and idle things, but I'm thinking blue might think about Imperial Age. Imperial Age and Skirmishers would be perfect here. Very hard for red. Red doesn't have the information we do. Red has not been able to do damage or much damage in this game. More Cav Archers on the way. University now, probably for Ballistics, plus the second TC coming in. Still no Imp for blue, but blue 74 eco against 50 right now. Strode says, blue wins this. Red is doing nothing with his map position. Well, I don't know when Strode said that. I think it's unfair to say he's doing nothing with it. He's dropped his castle here. He's been active with his army. He's not accomplishing enough, though. He's not accomplishing enough. And when you go for the Cav Archers, you delay your TCs, which has kind of been an issue when blue goes for the TCs. You could tell, like, you're looking at red's perspective, and you're probably very, like, this might be relatable for many, where if the opponent plays defensively enough, you feel like you can't do anything. And that is where I feel the situation is right now for red. Does continue to invest into more and more upgrades, though, which, you know, maybe is something you question a little bit. But you make an army, you wanna have an effective army. Still just more and more booming here from blue. Still no Imperial Age, but probably getting close. It's super cheap with the Byzantines. The Cav Archers for Nessie headed over this direction now. Just 2 town centers, just 4 fishing ships for Nessie. Could have fished in this pond a little bit. There's just like a random blue fishing ship. Could have maybe dropped the dock here and fished here. Lots of things you could maybe point out that could have been an option, but then red wouldn't have been as attentive with the Cav Archers most likely, right? Imp coming in soon now for blue, who's actually making cataphracts. I think blue's making the cataphracts to have some resistance for the CA here, because, like, the CA are an issue for the gold miners. Red trying to hit this side now. Also added a knight, probably for some mangonels. Parked here will kill another Vil, maybe. The Cav Archers were thinking about looping around. Blue noticed the overchop, pulled the Vils away, and rewalled it. Blue is on the way to Imp. Blue's got 4 TCs right now. And dropping the ranges. This would make me, if I'm red right now, this would make me think my opponent's clicked up. Because it's clear that he's prepping something for the next stage. Ooh, castle's a bit of an issue. But red wanted all of his Cav Archers here to deny the ranges. If he denies the ranges, then skirms can't come out. And this is the first time that red's really seen a lot of villagers to kill in a while. But the mangonels scare him away. There was a sneak barracks on the side, which red spotted. Okay, didn't notice that myself. And this is now going to be a Trebor situation. Where, I mean, blue's going to have the hill. Blue's Byzantines. And blue's going to be an imp faster. And blue's got a 25-30 villager lead. This is blue's game to lose at this point. Like, blue is in the perfect position headed to the Imperial Age. The other thing I'll say, because I want to touch on this point before we really, like, dive into how this game ends, because it's been a great series. The other thing I'll say, so earlier, I talked a lot about how, like, I do feel like a lot of players try and emulate, you know, the pros and like, doing a little bit of everything, right? And how I feel like it hurts them. That is true, but also the other thing is you don't get better at multitasking and doing a lot of different details in the game if you don't try it. So if you're someone out there who's like, man, you know, maybe T90's right on that. Maybe I should just, like, you know, be a greedy boomer or something instead. It depends what you want. I think you can make the most out of your skill set if you kind of, like, simplify it sometimes. And that's something to keep in mind. But you also could become a much better player if you try and play kind of like red has. And have variety too. So, just you know, food for thought there. Blue is raiding with cataphracts in red's base. Not sure exactly how he got through here, but he's through. And now blue is dropping a castle here with no army support. Oh, come on, red, notice it. Okay, red notices it. as he was on his way home, Blue will lose quite a few vills here. But Blue will have Trebs, and the Trebs will soon take out the castle and the TC there from Red. Also, this barracks is producing random spears, which I love so much. It might not accomplish something, but it's just another thing for the opponent to be annoyed by. A samurai here from Red. Probably mixed in because he was expecting to be up against skirms. Maybe thought that some samurai could help against like the mangonels as well. But again, Byzantines with the hill, with 2 castles, could soon be 3, and Red's castle goes down like immediately. Against small things, I really respect. Just a random unit goes back there just so you could head back in earlier. I think Red noticed that though. But Red is going to struggle. Like, it's going to struggle to break Blue's position here. And Blue is a player who already doesn't spend a ton of time going with army. So if Blue could take out this middle position and then just have some time to figure that out, whatever it might be, with this type of an eco lead, I think it's going to be bad news bears for Nessie here. The 2 Trebs take care of everything that was towards the middle. Still not a single blacksmith upgrade for Blue's cataphracts, though. So again, another game where like Red's making all this army. Blue's kind of late to the party there. What's Blue's plan going to be? I mean, Blue's got to be careful here. Like, this is the time where you need to be spamming those blacksmith upgrades. Looks like we have some ranged upgrades coming in. There are 3 ranges here that should be maybe producing some skirm soon. Do damage from hills. Oh, man, big shot there. Was reading something in chat, and no! The Cav Archer's Nessie! No! Someone was, I believe, asking if like, the damage is based on how high you are on the hill, and the answer is no. A 1-tile hill, you do just as much extra damage as a 7-tile hill. The difference on this map, though, is that cracked terrain, your buildings also take more damage from siege. So that was hill bonus, but that was also cracked terrain, which is kind of a unique thing. Yeah, Blue just going to randomly toss in some spears as he researches guilds. Okay, Blue, you have a problem, bro. I love you. Okay, you're a very unique player, but you have a booming problem. You need to seek professional help. Because right now is military time, my friend. Not guilds. Not guilds so you could sell wood at a slightly better price when you have full access to the gold in the middle. I mean, it's just another way to get a lead economically, though. So I kind of like it. And the little annoying raids on the sides, they're going to add up. Red is not prepared to deal with this or does not want to deal with this because Red needs to keep an eye on the middle. Red's still looking for damage over here. And the Light Cav are going to make it through. Again, not a single upgrade, but Blue has the position. And when you have the position, you can afford to do this. Something that Red can learn from Blue is how to fortify up a base. Obviously, Red was the aggressor here, so there wasn't a lot of focus on his base. But Blue kind of soaked up the pressure, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4 castles with Byzantines now. And this castle, this is actually sick. This castle is going to protect the Trebs. Doesn't actually need army. His castles can be army here, as he clicks heavy Cav Archer now with Byzantines. Byzantines don't have the greatest Cav Archers ever, but they certainly don't have the worst. Some people might say close to the worst, but they get heavy CA, they get the attack upgrades at least, and he needs military right now. Red's castle will fall. Red doesn't even know that there's the second castle next to this, so he goes out for 1. To kill the Trebs next to 1. He's going to see the second, and there's just this massive line of castles everywhere, and the GG is called. And Quiet the Pro, the boomer in this series, gets the job done. That was fun, man. That was a fun series. I love that. And it feels like, both players were extremely skilled, at least at like what they really focused on. I think a lot of learning things, like for both, like I think that I hope that both of them take a lot of pride from how they played in this series, but also think, okay, maybe I could tweak this here or there. They're both like maybe 1 or 2 steps away from being in a higher elo bracket next time. But that was cool, man. And like, kind of the whole point of the community tournament, obviously, is to give people opportunities to play tournament settings, which are very different than a ranked game. The preparation was clear. It's clear these guys played practice matches, or at least like went in and labbed out some builds. I felt like the strategy overall was pretty solid. And in most of the games where someone won, the player who lost could have won that game if a couple things would have gone differently. So, yeah, it was just a super fun series here. And probably like the perfect series. We were going to cast some more of this, of course, but like, I love it when you have players with 2 very distinct styles. So the key for Nessie here, Nessie's probably feeling a little bit worse about the whole situation because Nessie did lose here in the final. But Nessie, I'm just going to say that when you focus on fish and you like focus on the pond control, you have to make sure you continue to add fish. That's one thing. The castle, while it maybe felt like it was a good idea, Nessie did sacrifice a lot for. I don't know exactly when it was at this point. They both used the market a lot here. But if you go back to that point, like he sold off a ton of his food. He sold off crucial resources basically so he could buy the castle. I would have liked to see maybe a siege push there if you want to pressure it. I do also feel like maybe you feel the siege push takes too much time. It's not as immediate, not as important as having a castle. So, and honestly, Blue is just like really creative in sneaking around with the vills and dropping the TCs. He's like, I don't care if you have army because I'm going to see it and I'm just going to walk my vills away from it. So there was probably that too. Also, honestly, like the initial archers, if Blue didn't get a couple of those house hits down, those initial archers could have really made life awkward for Blue too. So I think there was a little bit of luck there. So don't think Nessie's going to be too bummed about this if he sees the cast. I think it was a fun series, but a couple things could have gone differently, and maybe you get the win here and punish the greed from Quiet the Pro there. But Quiet the Pro watched the cast the entire time here. If he is from Australia, maybe stayed up late to do so. So Quiet the Pro, thanks for sticking around. I'm sure you enjoyed the games and fun series. And that is, or those players are number 1 and number 2 in the Pikeman bracket. I don't know their overall. I don't know how many wins and losses there were overall, but 1,200 elo is pretty competitive elo. So I imagine there was maybe a bit of a fight to get to the final there.